Exactly 1 year ago, it was like this.
Nigdy w życiu.
I have never been so happy in my life with this supposed second place. Poland won, democracy won. We removed them from power. Right away, Poland was supposed to become a cool place where everyone smiled. Even before Donald Tusk took over the government, he outlined what his rule of law would look like. It will be according to the law as we understand it. The government took the oath of office on the 13th of December and immediately took off on a democratic kick. Just a week later, powerful people illegally took over the public media. The Entry Group was directly responsible for the takeover of the media. Among its members were the future illegal administrators of the public media, as well as, according to information from journalist Tomasz Marc, Magdalena Hodownik, girlfriend of a Russian spy, who immediately began working in the public television after the takeover. This is why I'm fighting for clarification of who was behind the Entry Group. Magda was with us, and that's it. I left. This was the beginning of breaking laws with the smile of Donald Tusk's coalition, which was initiated by Colonel Bartłomiej Sienkiewicz, the Polish Minister of Culture at the time, who oversaw this whole entry operation. Political revenge is certainly emblematic of this government. Despite Polish President Andrzej Duda's 2015 pardon, Donald Tusk's services detained parliament deputies Mariusz Kamiński and Maciej Wąsik in early January. The illegally detained politicians joined a hunger strike. Once it was clear that both would leave prison, the services force-fed Mariusz Kamiński as an unconventional form of torture. I was taken out of the cell, tied up with belts on the bed. Then they attempted to put a probe through my nose. In an act of protest against the government's lawlessness, the March of Free Poles passed through the streets of Warsaw on the 11th of January, bringing together hundreds of thousands of people on a weekday in the middle of winter. The government was afraid that it might face legal liability for its actions. That's why it illegally took over the National Prosecutor's Office in mid-January and made the entire state vulnerable to legal paralysis. On what grounds was the National Prosecutor dismissed? On the basis of the regulations, Article 47. Here I kindly inform the Minister, with full respect towards you, but I kindly inform you that your decision is unlawful and bears the hallmarks of committing a crime. A wave of agricultural protests has swept across Europe. The demonstrators opposed the European Union's climate policy and the uncontrolled import of agricultural products into community countries. The largest protest in Warsaw took place on March 6th in the form of a battle with the police, where officers used batons, gas, and water cannons to attack protesters. Police pacify protesting farmers in a violent manner. Gas was used on the people. The government also started a fight against the Justice Fund. Through it, the previous Law and Justice government brought modern equipment for volunteer fire departments. The illegal National Prosecutor's Office detained Father Michał Olszewski and two former Justice Ministry officials. According to their accounts, the detainees were tortured. When we arrived at the cell, I heard that there was nothing left at that hour, neither dinner nor water. I managed to beg for half a cup of tap water, brought in a bottle that stood empty in the cell. In the morning, when I asked to be led to a toilet, I was told you have a water bottle. In September, southwestern Poland was flooded. Donald Tusk's government was warned about the flood threat by both the European Commission and the Polish Institute of Meteorology and Water Management. However, the Prime Minister did nothing and falsely reassured residents instead of preparing evacuations. These projections are not overly alarming. Every example of lawlessness or plain indolence on the part of the government was publicized by our television. That's why the Prime Minister, breaking the law, won't let our TV station into press conferences. Who accredited you? Because you are not on the list. In two places, through the newsroom and the press room, and even through an email we sent from the editorial office to the Prime Minister's office. But you are not on the list, so you cannot enter. Nothing can be done about it? I can't do anything about it. I have top-down orders for the Prime Minister's office, and I only let in those people who are on the list. The Polish people are harshly judging Donald Tusk's rule. According to a poll by the Institute for Social Research and Market for Polsat TV, the Law and Justice Party is returning to the first place with 31.3% support, followed by the Civic Coalition which 30.7% of respondents say they are willing to vote for. Finally, the Confederation Party closes off the poll with 9.8% support. The third way and the New Left would still be in the parliament.